You are now watching LSSC which is an acronym for Living and Surviving with Sickle Cell. I am the host, a Boogie Gaza King 5-1 to the 6, aka also known as A King Zito for the year 2023 and beyond. No, it's been a while, guys. I've been going through a lot. I've been sick. I was in the hospital for New Year's, uh, going through it. That's why I haven't took no pictures off. So happy New Year's, but I've been working behind the scenes, man. Like I'm getting my studios together. It's just I need a little more things I'm learning. People say they'll help you. You always have people that, I help you. I know how to do this. You know what I'm saying? I would do that. I'll be your manager. I'll come teach you how to do this. And then when it comes time to it, when it's your dream and when it's your passion and it's not the other person's passion, people are not going to move on it. So you have to learn to do stuff for yourself. And guys, that's what I've been doing. That's why you see me. I do videos here and there. I have a lot of videos. I've been working. There's been a lot of things in the work, guys, for the new 2023. I'm so happy, man. You know what I'm saying? God been moving in my life. I'm going through the transplant and stuff. But this video is brought to you by BBC, and it's the stigma, the stigma of sickle cell. I had to bring this to you guys. I'm sorry you can't see my face, but like I said, I have a new system trying to how, like I said, I'm learning how to do different things. But I'm still gonna bring you guys this video. Let's get into this video, okay?
So there's this building in the middle of Croydon, and it's a centre for people with an inherited disease called sickle cell. And there's these paintings on the side of the building of red blood cells. The healthy, happy ones are dancing and playing football, but there's also these sad, pale looking ones. And there's one in particular in a hospital bed, and it's shaped like a sickle. I used to drive past this building all the time as a kid, and without knowing it, I essentially had a basic grasp of what sickle cell was. But despite the paintings on the building, I didn't grow up with that many people talking about sickle cell. However, it wasn't just me.
So I knew something was wrong with me, but I didn't know I had sickle cell anemia. I would just randomly have pain in my back, or my legs would give way, or my arm would give way, and I can't play PE today, but I didn't know why.
But how is that even possible? How could someone like Lola grow up not even knowing she had sickle cell? It's one of the most common genetic disorders and affects millions of people around the world. So the big question is, why aren't we talking about it more? And what's with the stigma?
Exactly. Why is it not out there more? Why? We suffer. It's a chronic illness. Why is it not out there like cancer? And why do sickle cell patients have a stigma put on them? That is a good question. Let's get back into the video.
So, what is sickle cell? Well, it's actually the name of a group of blood disorders, but the most common one that we'll be talking about in this video is sickle cell anemia.
Bear with me, guys. I know I showed you this already. I already know I showed you the picture, but she's going through it again. Then she's going to get into the stigma and everything. Bear with me.
How would I describe it to someone that has no idea what it is? It's where your hemoglobin or red blood cells are shaped abnormally.
This is a healthy red blood cell. It's round and flexible and flows through the blood vessels easily. But this is a blood cell produced by someone with sickle cell. It's not round. It's more like a crescent moon or a sickle. And the problem with blood cells like these, besides the shape, is that they're rigid and sticky. They get stuck in small vessels and block blood flow and oxygen to the body. We call this a sickle cell crisis. And yes, it's extremely painful.
It's the worst pain any human can experience.
Excruciating pain.
It feels like I'm being stabbed.
Imagine being stabbed by like a million different knives.
Really digging in there and like twisting the.
Exactly. Remember I said I feel like I'm getting shot and stabbed at the same time. Now imagine that pain all over your body where blood flows. Anywhere where blood flows, you can experience a sickle cell crisis, which I call the pain from hell. And you're going to see. Let's get into the video.
You can get that pain anywhere in your body.
A scorpion with like blades attacking your bone.
It feels like I'm having an exorcism in my sleep.
And it's not only the extreme pain, there's a number of other severe complications that come with having the disease. Managing sickle cell means lifelong treatment, which is usually in the form of medication and pain relief, supplements like folic acid, and blood transfusions. There is actually a cure though, a stem cell transplant, but these aren't done for absolutely everyone for a few reasons, partly the cost, partly health risk factors.
And that's what I'm going through right now. Through the grace of God, after 35 years, praying and crying, the transplant, that's what I'm going through right now. And I hope I come out the other end cured. It's still in process. Like I said, I'm going through it now. Like my doctor said, it could take a year, it could take 2 years, it could take 10 years. You never know. It's up to your body to let you know if you're cured. But like I said, so far, thank God, I've been sick, but I haven't been sick like with a bad sickle cell pain crisis. I haven't felt that in a minute. So, thanks God. Thank you.
As genetic diseases go, sickle cell is one of the more common ones, and it predominantly affects people of African descent on the continent and across the diaspora. But if this is true, why are there still stories of people with sickle cell growing up not knowing about it?
My mum didn't have a sit down with me explaining to me what my condition was.
At first, I was angry because I knew my parents were taking precautions against me falling ill and all of that. But it was like, oh, you didn't really tell me why you were doing all these things.
I didn't know anyone experiencing this same illness as me. And I didn't quite understand it myself fully at that time.
To me, it was anger at first, yes. And then trying to figure out, okay, how do we go from?
Very, very, even to this day, I'm still angry. You be angry, you have questions, like why? Why me? Why do this illness exist? Why do any illness exist? Why do cancer, AIDS? Why? Because you still have effect from the illness. Because 35 years, sickle cell, the body is damaged. My body is damaged. So that's why it's like hard for the transplant to, you know what I'm saying? It's harder for older people. It works better for kids. See, this for the adults, this is new. They've been doing it, I think, for the last 2 years. Usually it works better with kids because kids, their body are not damaged. As if they get the transplant, when they're young, when they found they had sickle cell, they get that 1, 2. Their body not as damaged as an older person like me that's had sickle cell for 35 years, or somebody had sickle cell for 40 years, 50 years, 60. It's harder for us, so it's a cutoff. And me and my friend Les just made the cutoff. We just made the cutoff, so that's why we're going through it right now. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, with faith, I hope I get cured. I can only take it one day at a time. But let's get back into the video.
Yeah.
There is a stigma attached to sickle cell, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable talking about it because of the lack of knowledge surrounding it.
Nigeria has the highest rate of sickle cell in the world, with an estimated 150,000 babies born with sickle cell anemia each year. But despite the prevalence of sickle cell in countries like Nigeria, some of that stigma still sticks around in some cases, and part of that could be attributed to historical and spiritual explanations about why sickle cell happens and why it was taking the lives of so many children.
There's actually a term in Yoruba that basically used to be used for people with sickle cell, which is the children that come and go.
The term...
This is crazy, right? I ran across this video a month ago. But growing up through the years, I always used to tell my mom, my family, I'm cursed. This disease is a curse. This illness came from Satan. The devil. This his illness. We hell all the time. And then when I ran across this video, that's why I had to bring, because the stigma and how it is in Africa, it tripped me out because I already was connecting this spiritually back, and they always telling my mom, and my mom always used to pray now, pray me out of it. And I thank God she kept prayer. She kept praying. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know where I'd be today. But let's get back into this video. This is crazy, man. Check this out, guys.
Abiku in Yoruba, and in Igbo, it's Obanje. And these terms often refer to a spirit that predestines a child to die early and be reborn again and again. And while modern advancements in medicine has given us an explanation as to how sickle cell works, some of the stigma still sticks around.
Sickle cell patients are kind of seen to be less than, or to seen to be being attacked by the devil or some enemy somewhere. It's heartbreaking, to hear that and have to navigate that.
People, didn't have access to education, didn't have access to healthcare. You're having babies that were born 1 minute, good 1 minute, and then they're dead the next.
The communities that tend to still believe in spirituality of it are in the rural communities, but they're getting better.
That's Dr. Annette Akinshete, Director of Sickle Cell Foundation Nigeria.
Don't forget the psychosocial aspect, because it's just as important as the physical illness. When you notice that there are issues, there tend always to be issues that we deal with that are psychosocial, because of stigma, because of discrimination. These are things they deal with every day of their lives.
So what can be done to reduce the stigma of sickle cell and improve the lives of people living with it?
We need to sit down and iron out all the stigmas and stereotypes within the community, within the African community.
More funding, more awareness. We can't just...
Exactly. More funding and more awareness. See, going through this transplant, I met this girl. She had the transplant a couple years ago, and then met my friend Les, mentoring, and she told me, I never knew until my friend broke it down to me, because she told me she's an introvert. And I said, you an introvert, but you don't seem like an introvert because you're talking to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Usually introverts don't talk. But the doctor, because I was going through stuff, they had her reach out to me and talk to me, because she's been through it, and they was coaching me. Her and my friend Les was coaching me through this, even though she's been through it, but he's going through it with me right now. But he said, bro, all sickle cell patients, we all introverts. You know them times when we don't want to talk on the phone, when we don't want no company, when we don't want to watch TV, when you don't want to do it. That's an introvert. I was like, yo, and I didn't look at it. I said, yo, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Because people be reaching out, but you don't feel like talking because you're going through your problem. I am the Malcolm X of the sickle cell thing. I didn't want to, because like I said, I looked at it as a formal weakness, but as different nurses and different people that worked at the hospital and my mother and say, yo, you need to tell a story. You need it's time. Sickle cell, they need somebody to tell what do y'all really go through. Because we don't like talking about it because it hurts us. You know what I'm saying? So you're listening to other people from across the world that goes through the same thing. Let's get back into the video. That's why I'm doing this. For the younger ones that's coming up after us. So we can make it better for them, make it easier so they won't have to go through the mental pain we went through or we going through with the physical.
Talking about prevention, there are also those of us living this life, and you need to find a way to make sure they are living like the best life as much as possible.
We're so used to suffering in silence. I think that's something more than bigger than the sickle cell community, bigger than the Black community. It's a condition that we've learned over the years to deal with. So it's really hard to sometimes have this conversation because people feel ashamed or a sense of guilt. There's a lot of trauma around not talking about our pain. I'm now comfortable with
a lot of trauma talking about our pain. And she says she's now comfortable, like me. I don't know how old she is. She look older. I'm 35. Now she's comfortable. Now I'm comfortable because of the trauma and the stigma. But let's get into it.
And that it's okay to not be okay.
Like I said, that video is brought to you by BBC News Africa. I bring that video to you guys. I'd like to say thank you for watching. Good night, good morning. It depends what time you watch this. Peace.